Hi guys, this is a segment to acknowledge World Men's Mental Health Month. And it's June, it happens every June. And this time we decided to acknowledge it, honor it by bringing a man, somebody who understands what we're talking about to come and tell us how it is to be a man, tell us about the mental health of men and conversations surrounding it. So it is with so much honor and pleasure that present to you my friend of 16 years,
Yep.
Dipo Odetoyinbo. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for acknowledging to do this conversation.
Right.
Or thank you for accepting rather. Because I
it's a
know
pleasure.
we didn't really plan it like that, but I just thought from our conversation that this is something that
Yeah.
we need to talk about and shine spotlight on. So first of all, I want to ask you. I know men have a lot to say. They really do, and I'm so excited that I'm having this conversation with you because you're my friend. So there are things we talk about
Right.
over the years
Yeah.
that I would be expecting that you should be able to tell people
Mainstream.
this. It should be mainstream.
Yeah.
People should know this. People should be aware of this. So I'm going to ask you first, what is that thing that as a man you wish that a lot of people know about or talk about more?
Well, I think that as human beings, we are emotional beings, whether we acknowledge it or not. So people always talk about men not being emotional. So the truth of the matter is that a man is just as emotional as a woman. But as we grow up, as a boy, you are told not to reveal those things. I mean, you fall down as a 5-year-old boy, and you're telling the boy, stand up, man up. Like, man, how? Man, where? Right? But that's just how we've been raised. It's not even about our society. It's kind of like a global thing. So boys are told to man up when they don't even know what it is to be a man. And even men are still asking themselves this question, okay, so who is a man? Are you call yourself a man? There are certain things that a man hears that it's like somebody pricking you with a knife or something, oh, and you call yourself a man. Oh, are you man enough? It's kind of like a trigger.
Wow. So from what you said now, this conversation about men are more logic, women are more emotional.
Yes.
Where does it fall in this thing you're talking about?
Yeah, so yes, men are more logical. The way we would, the kind of solutions that we present would likely be more logical, right? But in terms of emotions are always there. It's just that it's like we're not giving permission to allow them come to the surface because then you're looking weak. There are certain conversations that you have, even with your friends that are guys, and it's like, what is this guy talking about? Like, why are you saying this? We all feel the same way, but we're just not comfortable talking about it, even amongst ourselves.
Why does that happen though? It shocks me all the time when I see these. Like, men don't really tell themselves the truth of what they
Yeah.
are going through, or everybody's just
Yeah.
gassing out, baba, fun, baba.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, you
Chairman,
go do it,
chief.
chairman.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Well, I think we were raised that way. We've been cultured that way.
So even amongst you guys, you
Yes. I mean, it's funny because sometimes maybe my wife asks me, oh, so I saw a friend I've not seen in a while. Oh, okay, how is he doing? Oh, how is this? How is that? And I'm like, it even occurred to me to ask him those questions because I'm like, so what are you guys doing? You guys were together for like hours. Like, well, we're just, we're talking about so many other things.
What?
It could be business. Yeah, so some things. It's like when men get together, I mean, you're talking money, you're talking, even if you talk women, it's not anything so deep. It's not your personal relationships as such, So men just feel more comfortable having certain conversations or talking about football, for instance, that could go on for hours, right? But what is really going on with you? Exactly. Right. Nobody asks you that. How are you? Like, how are you really? How are you managing this? Even when you know someone has been through something. Okay, so for instance, in the last couple of months, I know 2 people who have lost their wives. 2 men, and these are men in their 40s and even in their 50s, right? But the best you do is sit with them, or call them, oh, how are you doing and all, but you really don't bring up the elephant in the room. Okay, so how are you feeling? That's not a question that you can even ask because you don't. And when you ask, if you ask that question, I don't think you are really expecting a response because you can't really handle him breaking down or something, right? So it's just
what
the
do you mean
reality
you
we have.
can't really handle?
Okay, so like I said, we are
Like
not.
if a man starts crying, what would you do? If your friend,
I have no idea. Like at best,
wow,
a pat on the shoulder or something, you know. But yes, so I would even do that. But it's a thing of the kind of things that your guy friends probably tell you is like kind of man up. Ah, no, like, guy, hold body, hold body. You know, your mom just died, and then at the funeral they are still telling you, no, Yoruba, so
don't do
ma
that.
bokunrin je o. You know, you're like, which okunrin, which man are you talking about? Like, don't break down because people are around, and the person needs to grieve, but it's like you're not giving permission to do that.
So when men don't grieve or process their emotions or let out their emotions, how do you? Because emotion has to be let out.
Yep.
So how do you think it shows up?
Well, a lot of men have anger issues, for instance, and that's why, because the emotions are just pent up. You know, it's like it's like a pressure cooker. It's just waiting for, you know, it could even be a child that would ask an innocent question and like, why would you ask me that? You just, you know, explode. Yes, or at work, right? Men are allowed. Now, this is the difference. Women, especially like in a workplace setting, women are not allowed to show anger. It's, oh, she's aggressive, she's that. But for a man, it's understandable that, you know, oh, because he's supposed to be in charge, he does. So those
So
are the
that's where they
outlets that are
let
allowed.
out,
Yes.
you know, those emotions, those pent up feelings.
Yes.
Mostly
Or
at
you are
work.
watching a game, a football match or something. You know, see the way people shout, go!
Yes.
You know, so that excitement. So those are the kind of outlets that we have to let out those emotions.
Are those healthy outlets though?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure many of us are even asking ourselves, you know, those questions. I mean, you hear about people having stroke at the very early age. You hear about, I mean, there are a lot of issues that are kind of peculiar to men, and because we don't have that outlet. So it's not like we don't even want to have this conversation sometime, but we don't even know where to start from. Who do we even talk to about these things?
Therapists like me, for instance.
So I think that's another thing. Men like to hear from other men. Most men would
I've
not
realized
listen
it.
to.
Yes, to a woman
Yes.
therapist, a woman counselor.
Yes.
Why?
Well, okay, I'll give you a scenario. So you are going on the road, you're trying to find somewhere you've never been before. And, oh, so can you stop and ask the person by the road? No, from what I saw, this is the way we should go. And then we turn right there. No, we're almost there. And then 30 minutes later, you realize that you've missed the road, right? So it's just kind of like how we are designed. We want to create solutions. So it's like, I can figure it out by myself. So sometimes even asking another man for help is a challenge.
Yeah.
Talk less of a woman. So, you know, there's that, you know. Yeah, so for you to ask a man also for a solution, there has to be, you see how this guy is better than you at this thing, right? Yes. So I want to ask for a business solution, for instance. I don't ask somebody that I think, oh, we're in the same, you know, I want to see someone that I believe is more successful. So I can ask, oh, so how did you do this? That way I can humble myself and listen to what he's saying. But someone that I feel like, I better pass this guy now. Like, he's giving me business advice. It may be the right thing, what I need to hear, but I'm not even listening because I feel like, what's he saying? What does he have?
Yeah.
Yes.
So men are more achievement driven.
Yes.
Before they can even listen.
Yes.
For, you know. So, anyways, I read somewhere, you know, not even read, it's on Google, that men don't they don't mature emotionally until they are 40. Why is that funny to you?
It's just funny. I mean, I know nothing about that, but
Really?
yeah.
It's on Google. If you Google it, the men don't mature emotion. A man's emotional mature age is 40. And
So what is it for a woman?
For a woman, I think it's 32. I'm not correct about the woman. I think either 32 or 28. You get what I mean? So this, to me, when I saw this thing, I'm like, of course, this explains what happens in a marriage or relationship. For instance, the man is not mature in 40 years old. So, and this man has gotten married at 28. Imagine what's he doing for 12 years?
12 years of...
Or he's married at 30. You get what I mean? So, well, I wanted to ask what you think about that. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, I mean, I can't speak to what I don't know, but I just know that maybe because at that age, you have less... Okay, so you've tried so many things. So you know certain things don't work. At some point, you just don't care. Okay, so I've been trying so many things. I'm trying to succeed at life. So career, business, even relationships. So it's at this point when, if, let's say a man got married at 28, And by 35, for instance, um, his wife wants to leave and he doesn't want her to leave. So he's looking for a solution at this point. Okay, so how do I make this work? It's like I've tried everything. I've talked to my boys and they are saying, I beg, leave that one, you know. So what can I do? So at this point, he's open to wisdom tells you at some point that if you've tried this thing over and over again, this doesn't work. Okay, so how do I find a solution? So he's more willing to accept. That's so at that age, also you don't really care so much what people think, what people say. You are just trying to have peace in this life, right?
Wow.
So
So
maybe
how
that's
was
why.
year 40 for you? Was there any difference between your 30s and your 40s? Because I know you did 40 years ago.
Yeah, well, definitely there was a lot of difference, and I think I feel like I started turning 40 like 3 years before because I started asking myself, wow, you're going to be 40. Can you just imagine like all those things you said you're going to do? How far? Like by now you said you would have done this or you would have done that. So what's up with you, right? So I started kind of preparing for it mentally, and it's like some goals that I had dumped like 10 years before. I started bringing them back up. Okay, that's true. I was supposed to go back to school. Oh, I was supposed to do this. I was supposed to do that. And I said, okay, let me start doing something so that by the time I'm 40, I can say, okay, yeah, I think I actually achieved some of these goals.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you do those things?
I did.
That's good.
Yes, I did. I did some of them. I got stuck, you know,
Stuck.
yeah, again. So it came back to that point of, yeah. So even when I got stuck, unlike before, when I would still be trying to resolve the issue by myself, I realized, okay, you have done this for too long. It has not worked. Let me look for who has the answers. So at that point, it was a thing of, you know, wisdom told me, you know, bow your head down and go and look for where the solutions are. And if you need to pay for it, and, you know, do what you need to do.
Oh, that's good. That's so good. So, like you were saying in the beginning, what do men want women to know that we don't know?
Okay, I mean, it's interesting. There was a conversation that you know, I was listening to online, and you know, the guy was talking about how women do these things where you know everything you say, they hold it. So sometimes you feel like you are being judged. So you said something 5 years ago, and it's being brought back today, right? And so men struggle with intimacy, for instance, and intimacy is to be able to open up completely, right? But those blocks happen when, for instance, a significant other, your wife, your girlfriend, or something, or you did this thing and then she's holding it against you, and she expects you to continue being vulnerable, right? But each time those things come back, or she brings
Mentions
up
it.
those things, like it creates another wall, another wall, another wall. So if you really want men to be vulnerable, I think you really have to not judge them and not bring back the things that they said, or you know, some of the mistakes they made. Yes.
So, but what if they've not changed from it? You know, because that's, I think, ladies, I hope I'm speaking for you. I think that's the reason why. Because people, when I do couples therapy, the men will be saying, "But I've apologized. I've moved. You know, move on." Like is upset that she still keeps mentioning it. And a lot of times, the woman will confirm to me, and other women that I've spoken to, is that the reason why they keep mentioning it is that you are still doing the same thing. You've not really changed. So how do you think a woman should handle that? Because we want you to be more open, more vulnerable, more intimate. We want you to be more open, more intimate, more vulnerable. So how do we deal with that when you've not really changed? Do you just expect me to gloss over it and move on and just accept my kadara or accept my fate? You get
Yes.
what I mean? How do you expect us to handle that?
Well, that's a difficult one. I mean, I can't speak as a woman. I'm not even a counselor, so
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
for a man, what do you think? If you want to advise me now, if probably I'm your girlfriend, I'm your wife,
Yeah.
and then you did something 5 years ago, and probably I've not healed from it.
yeah,
I'm trying to heal from it,
Yeah.
but you keep doing the same thing, or you keep doing things that remind me. You get?
yeah.
What do you
Okay,
think?
so I think there are different things, right? So you're talking about something happened. Let's say there was an affair, for instance, and you are seeing signs that something like this may happen again. Oh, So you are drawing close to somebody else again. Oh, these were the same signs that I saw back then. So I believe that the onus is on the man to try and, at this point, so it's like you are coming from the back, right? You have things to make up for.
Okay.
So it's now your responsibility to try and, make her relax. Even the things that you would do normally, that it's not a big deal now. Like, I can't I talk to somebody? Let her know, oh, I met this person today, oh, this thing happened. So that I think that's a bit of a different thing, where you know that, okay, you've made this mistake in the past. Oh, you've accepted. Yes, she hasn't forgiven you completely or something, or even when it looks like she has forgiven you, you need to ensure that you come correct. At some point, it's like, why are you giving me all this information? You are trying to play safe. So that's a bit of a different thing, right? I'm talking about when so vulnerable moments. So I shared a weakness with you.
Okay.
Oh, I cried or something like that, right? And I said something that I wouldn't have said normally in a moment of vulnerability. And then either it could be as simple as, oh, you laughed when I said that thing, right? Or so you've made certain conclusions about me because of that thing. If I even get a hint that, oh, she's not looking at me as weak, that may not be what you are thinking,
Okay,
but
so
I feel,
maybe like you cried.
Yes.
And then maybe I'm laughing. No, I don't think anybody would even laugh. But maybe.
Well, you may not laugh at the man crying, for instance, or maybe you trivialized it.
Okay, the issue.
Yes.
You understand? I get
Yes.
that. Like maybe it's not. Calm down now. Waiting they happen. It's not
Yeah.
that deep. Something like that.
Exactly. But for somebody who is not used to, revealing emotions, like you said, we're not very good at managing emotions.
Yeah.
So you think it's a small thing, and then the guy just starts crying. But it's because there are so many other things that are tied to that, right? We buried so many things over the years, and then one little thing triggers it, and I feel, oh, I can be open with this person, and then I'm vulnerable. And then I see that either you treat it lightly, or you brush it aside, or in how you responded to it, you said something that I just feel, oh no, like, it was my mistake. It's not going to happen again. So those are kind of things I'm talking about.
Okay. So women, learn not to trivialize issues when your man is serious about it or when he's vulnerable about it. Whatever he says, no matter how it appears to you. You know how people can be.
Yeah.
Like maybe you told me now that you cried about something. I might think it as petty or silly, or it's not your place to do that, so that he doesn't feel, because men don't like to be made to feel weak. So
that's why we don't even share with one another.
Oh,
because we feel you're going to come across as being weak. You have, you hear of issues where, they say 70% of suicides are by men.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what happens? Oh, and this happens, a lot of, at least recent cases I've heard about in the last few years. His friends would say, oh, but we just hung out last weekend. Oh,
we're
drinking,
yeah,
he was laughing, he seemed very normal, and the guy goes and offs himself, and I'm wondering, oh, why didn't he share? Oh, he should have shared. If he had shared, were you going to be open to it? Were you going to look at him funny? It's interesting because we all carry these things. So even though you are feeling, you have those same issues where you're just thinking, this guy is shared. Yeah, it's like, there's like a bro code, man. You don't do these things. Oh, so the guy now did that. How are you going? He's just going to be wondering in his head, how am I going to be seen after I've done this? Yeah.
Yes. So, what is your advice for people when it comes to that, to other men?
Okay, so I think one of the things that I've seen, at least we're talking about men's mental health awareness and all of that, and I've seen where a couple of guys have come together, creates kind of like a safe space. So I think there are people that you can actually talk to, and it's very important. It may be one person, I remember sharing with an older man a couple of years ago about some of the issues I had, and he said, you know what, this is exactly what happened to me just not too long ago. In fact, I'm just coming out of it. I was like, wow, because something just told me this guy would understand, and I didn't share with him for months, and I was depressed. I was acting like everything was fine and all, but I just thought, see, I cannot just keep this thing. I decided to call him, because I felt, okay, this is a mature man. He's been through a lot, so he should be able to handle it. And I spoke to him about it, and he was like, man, this same thing happened to me, and it was not even funny. So if I had not done that...
Was he able to help you?
I think just the fact that he acknowledged that you're not alone. for me, that did a whole lot. So he couldn't really counsel me in terms of, I mean, he's not a therapist or anything like that. But the fact that I could share that with him, and he's saying, oh, I've been through the same thing. This is how I came out of it. I was like, okay, so I could start. So one of the things he told me, for instance, was that I should stop isolating. In fact, I didn't even know, but he just said, I've not seen you in a while. Like, I mean, I actually thought I should call you, but I was like, see, this is what has been happening. He said, yeah, exactly. And this is what happened to me. I was isolating, so don't stay by yourself. You may not really feel like going out, but seek out certain people, talk to them, just, you may not even be sharing what the issue is, but don't just stay by yourself. And that was a major thing. In fact, that was the first time I started sharing that eventually led me to seeing a therapist and all of that.
That's good. That's really, really good. Well done for doing that, because not a lot of men would want to see a therapist, like you said. Therapist men, let alone therapist women. So that's a great thing that you did. But finally, what would you like to tell everyone watching as a man? What advice would you give to men?
It's okay. Whatever it is that you may be going through. When we don't talk, we just think that we are going through these things by ourselves. But when you bring up issues, I mean, there are some guys that you just cannot talk to. Some people just act like, oh, they are not serious. But even those guys, you'll be surprised what they are going through. People use things like comedy, for instance, to cope. Alcohol, women, when people do a lot of these things, especially to the extreme, that there's something that they are trying to cover up, right? So it's okay to discuss with a fellow man, especially. It's okay to seek counsel when you have issues. It's okay to not be strong. You don't always have to be strong, right? Because on the inside that you don't always feel strong. So, I mean, that thing that we keep doing, like, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. It's okay to talk to someone. That's what I would say. And men need support. Sometimes, even as a woman or as another man, sometimes he may not be ready to talk. But just the fact that he believes that somebody even wants to hear, somebody's even interested. People start sharing. You'll be surprised how someone starts sharing something with you, even when you didn't plan it, just because you asked, oh, how are you? Oh, how are you really? Oh, how far with this particular thing? And I realized that even to women, it may not be your significant other or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes women know how to ask some of these questions,
Yeah.
right? And you find yourself just unburdening, and you never plan to.
And this brings me, before we go to an exercise, my husband, that's how we got close. I know him from afar. We got, talking. And then, I had invited him to a program of mine to share. So I told him to do a video for me to post. And when he did the video, he was looking somehow. So I'm like, this guy it doesn't look okay. It doesn't look well. So I asked him, after I sent him the video, I texted him, I'm like, are you okay? And I think that he was like, oh my God, you are the first person that ever cared to ask. And then he started, which is, and my husband, he's very,
Yep.
But that kick-started the journey of him sharing what he was going through, what the project he was trying to do at the time, and it was, it was difficult for him to do, and all of those things. And that was what kick-started our friendship. That today. So maybe this is a tip for you as a girl, because I think people, not even just men too, but I think people are just naturally drawn to other people who ask or care for them.
Yeah.
Because I think that was what he saw. Like, this girl cares for me, to even ask me beyond the surface, which nobody else, cared.
This has nothing to do with
what we're talking about, what we are doing, and all of that. So for me, that would be my advice to women, and of course everybody, whether you are the younger brother of the guy or anyone. I think we need to ask people questions. You can joke around, but even in the joke, you can, because that's what I do. I me, I joke a lot. I throw a lot of banter, but I will still stop to ask that. No, seriously, I'm not joking. Like, seriously, how, and that can kickstart some conversations, and who knows, you might be the listening ear for someone, and you might even be the person that will prevent another person from offing themselves. And that's a very, very key thing. You know, so Deepo, I'm so grateful that you decided to do this. To even, like, I'm grateful that you were, because you were the one that brought this thing to my remembrance
Attention,
or
yeah.
my, you know, memory, or what do you call it now, consciousness.
Yeah.
That, you know, this, Lara, what are you guys doing about? And I thought, oh, this is so true, because as women, like we always say, there are lots of Women's Day, Mother's Day,
Yeah.
Father's Day,
I think
self.
Father's Day is even on Sunday or something.
Coming Sunday.
Yeah.
There's no noise about it. We will
Yeah.
not remember.
Yeah.
And then some women will now come on that, the single mothers, they now say,
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to,
To
me.
me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't care what you are going through. I know you are going through a lot, but just stay with the Mother's Day. You can claim it every day, but don't just rob the men of that. You know, so this one that you've reminded me now, I'm going to have to get a gift for my husband, because, you know, these are some of the ways to show men,
Appreciation.
to show appreciation, because men don't, sometimes, a lot of times, they don't even ask for gifts.
Yeah.
But I realize that men love gifts, so
Yeah.
they love it.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
we don't get it often.
Yes.
So, yeah.
When they don't even ask for it, when they didn't think for, just give. Like, you will see the excitement.
Yeah.
When I see my husband, when you buy something, you'll be like a child, because he doesn't get it often.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you for doing this. It's also reminding me to be more, you know, attentive to men's needs. So thank you for coming, Deepo. Thank you for having this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah. So everybody, thank you for joining this conversation. You can tell us in the comment section, what do you think? If you're a man, what do you think men need? What should we do more? If you're a woman, tell us whatever you have done that has helped you, and the likes of that. So thank you. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.